Hi everyone, I'm Celeste. Welcome to my booktube channel. Well, it's kind of a dark gray April afternoon. It's raining lightly out there and it's a perfect cozy day for curling up with a good book or for chatting about bookish things as I'm doing with you here. Just wanted to come on for a few moments just to share with you what I've been doing this past week. Primarily, I have been finishing up my reread of The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Love this edition that I have with illustrations by Graham Rust. There are many lovely editions out there. So I've been enjoying that. And then in addition to that, I've been reading it in preparation for a book club discussion, and I belong to a book club, and we met last Wednesday night online, and it was so exciting and special because our very special guest was the great-great-granddaughter of Frances Hodgson Burnett, and her name is Keri Wilt. And let me see if I've got this right here. Frances Hodgson Burnett had a son named Lionel, and he did pass away. She also had a son whose name was Vivian, and Vivian was actually the inspiration for Little Lord Fauntleroy, and he was the one that had to dress up in the velvet sort of pantaloon outfit. And he never really lived down his the image people had of him as Little Lord Fauntleroy. But anyway, that was Vivian. Vivian had a child named Barty, and Barty was the parent of Keri's mother, and she had Keri. So Keri is the great-great-granddaughter of Frances Hodgson Burnett. She is also a writer and speaker. She has a podcast called The Well-Tended Life. And so, you know, it's all sorts of life tips with inspiration and advice from the pages of The Secret Garden. So that was really, really special. And Keri regaled us with anecdotes about Frances. She gave us some quotes from Frances, such as, which I wrote down, "Our current circumstances do not define our future." She believed very strongly that we should stand up for what is right. She talked about how grief gets turned around on its head into hope and magic. And she also shared a fact with us, which I thought was really interesting, and that is that Frances Hodgson Burnett never had a book turned down, and she wrote quite a few of them. So yeah, that was really, really interesting, and I greatly enjoyed it. In addition to the discussion of The Secret Garden, I also pulled out this, which is, I love it, it's so pretty. It's by Classics Unfolded, and this one is about The Secret Garden. And these are little folio foldouts that sort of give you a summary of the story. There are spoilers on it, though, so if you have not read the story, be aware of that. I'll just pull it out and show it to you briefly. So you get the cast of characters here. So we have Mary, Colin, Dickon, Ben Weatherstaff, Mr. Craven, Mrs. Medlock, and Martha. And so then if you pull it out here, isn't that wonderful? The very first panel over here is of Mary and Mrs. Medlock on their way to Thwaite Manor. And then I'll just briefly show you the back. So here's the rest of it. And then it just gives you a sort of little, it says The Secret Garden in 30 seconds, and it just gives you a little synopsis. So I just thought that was, hitting my lamp here. I just thought that was so much fun. I got this one and the one for Pride and Prejudice for $1 each at a library book sale. So these are called Classics Unfolded. I think they're just lovely. And then in addition to that, I did reread 2 biographies of Frances Hodgson Burnett, aside from learning all sorts of things from Keri Wilt in the book club discussion. And so I had read this one before. This is called Unearthing the Secret Garden. And this is just a lovely book. It's by Marta McDowell. And I shared quite a few Marta McDowell books on my BookTube channel about a year ago. I think it was last April. I've noticed since then that several people have started featuring books by Marta McDowell, which makes me very happy because I'm hoping it's because you got excited about it from seeing my channel. Or, saw it online and discovered Marta McDowell on your own. Either way, it's a win-win, right? But anyway, this book I would say is really good if you're new to studying about Frances Hodgson Burnett's life. It is just absolutely chock full, come on, of beautiful, beautiful photographs. There she is all dressed up in her garden, and that is in Kent at Maytham. And I believe that's where she wrote The Secret Garden. But this talks about all the different places she lived in her lifetime. Lots of people consider her to be strictly English, but she has many American connections, and she did live in the United States. So we've sort of adopted her as one of our own as well. But it's just full of photos. Here's another one of her. Isn't that beautiful? So this is a great one if you want to see a lot of photographs of her homes, where she lived, who her children were, basic biography. Some of the friendships that she had when she published what, and then also what she grew in her gardens, because she was a prolific gardener. So this is a great, great starting place. And then I also did a reread of Beyond the Secret Garden, The Life of Frances Hodgson Burnett. This one is by Thwaite. I first came across this book a few years ago at our local library. They had actually a display on Frances Hodgson Burnett, and it caught my eye, of course. So this is a really good biography if you want to do more of a deep dive into her life, her trials and tribulations, her depressions, her stays at sanitariums, her marriages. It gives you lots of excerpts from her letters and journals, the impressions of other people about her. For example, Henry James's impressions of Frances Hodgson Burnett are in here, what her children thought and all of that. So this is much more of a deep dive, and it's a really interesting read. I highly recommend this. I've just got my little leaf in here that I was using as a bookmark. So in any event, while I was reading this book, Thwaite, the author, was talking about how Frances and other peers of hers in her generation were bemoaning sort of the fact that there are so many great children's books that can be read and enjoyed by people of all ages, and how this sort of new thing was coming into being where literature was divided into being children's literature and young adult literature and all of that. And one of the people who was bemoaning that was Mark Twain. And he included Frances Hodgson Burnett's The Secret Garden as one of the books that he thought could be enjoyed by all ages. And I've actually ordered 2 other titles that were mentioned in the same paragraph as examples of books that everybody can enjoy, even though they might have been written as children's books. So I've ordered both of them, and I'm very excited to read them. I'm hoping that they'll arrive within the next couple of weeks, because I would love to receive them in time for my birthday, which is coming up at the end of April. The first is called Tom's Midnight Garden, and that is a book by Philippa Pearce, and it's a children's fantasy novel, apparently. It was first published in 1958, and I'm just reading some notes here. The story is about a 12-year-old boy named Tom who, while staying with his aunt and uncle, slips out at midnight and discovers a magical, mysterious Victorian garden where he befriends a young girl named Hattie. The novel has been reissued in print many times, and it's also been adapted for radio, television, cinema, and the stage. And Philippa Pearce, the author, apparently also won the Carnegie Medal from the Library Association. The second book I've ordered, based on its being mentioned in Beyond the Secret Garden, is one called The Mouse and His Child, and that is by Russell Hoban. And it's been described as a classic of children's literature. This is the story of a pair of toy mice who are joined by the hands and operated by clockwork. The story tells of their beginning in a toy store, their purchase and eventual discarding, followed by their pursuit by a malicious rat and their quest to become self-winding. So it just sounds adorable. So I'm really looking forward to reading that as well. So I'm hoping those 2 will arrive soon, and I've ordered vintage copies of both of those books. So that is everything I have for today. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you're enjoying the spring day today. I do have more to say about The Secret Garden, and I'm in the process of sort of writing that all down. It's almost becoming an essay, and it is on the parts of The Secret Garden that I find slightly problematic. I am trying to take my time with this and do some soul searching, and so that I can articulate it in the best way possible, and so that it really reflects what I believe to be the truth, and that it reflects me and my truth. So that may take a while in coming, but I am working on that. And I'm excited. I have lots of other things coming up that I'll be looking forward to sharing with you over the next few weeks and months. I hope you're doing well, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.